there's been a long history of trade between the United States and China, and we're optimistic that the leaders of our countries will work through this issue and will come out with some sort of a resumption of trade, just like we did back in 2020 with the Phase 1 agreement. The tariff to import a U.S. soybean into China these days is 125% or so. So they are so high. They and I think the Chinese leadership have said they've become meaningless in that they're so high, or became a joke. It's not good for our U.S. industry. China is a very important customer of the U.S. soy industry. As I said, we started our work there 43 years ago, and our biggest customer is the China animal feed industry. Hopefully we will come out with a trade agreement in the relatively near future that will get this trade back on track again. I think both countries have been in a bit of a diversification strategy. I have seen China diversifying their suppliers to where they are still importing a significant amount of soybeans from the United States, but it's less of the total imports than it used to be in terms of percentage of the total. And similarly with U.S. exports. China is still a very important customer. As I said, our #1 customer so far this year, but it's a smaller percent of the total. So I think both countries have been looking at how they broaden out their supply chains, but whether it's the U.S. exporting or China importing. So I think that's how they've been preparing. The China market has grown dramatically, so it has its size. It's a big market, so that's important to us. But it's also a long-term consistent market. It's a market where people have been buying year after year. I would say the important thing is that it's a very consistent importer of U.S. soy. I think what's really important to realize is that our U.S. soy farmers are long-term investors, long-term business people. The farmers are multi-generation. If you would talk to our farmers, many would tell you I'm 5th generation or 6th or 7th generation. And their farm it's what their family, it's their family where they live, it's where they operate. It's not just an investment for them. It's not just a factory they build. It's their livelihood, it's their life. So I cannot imagine there will be a time going forward where China, the largest importer of soybean in the world, and US, the 2nd largest exporter, and somebody that has such a long history in China, won't trade together. This will get resolved, and we will be trading together again. And the farmers all agreed with that. So we're going to continue doing our marketing efforts in China. I am planning to be in China in June for a conference that we're conducting. And then I'm planning to come back to the CIIE in November. And I hope at the CIIE, we're celebrating a new trade agreement between China and the United States. So those are, I think, how we are preparing. They voted, lots of farmers, you can read the data, 80% of farmers or something voted for President Trump, so he has a lot of support. So I think farmers are watching. I think they're optimistic that something good will come out of this. And this is the time of year when they're just starting to plant their crop. So they're taking the seeds, they're putting them in the ground, they're hoping it's going to rain, and they're hoping there will be a market when they harvest that crop. Let's think about that Phase 1 agreement and how do we make a new and improved agreement to bring this to an end and get our two great countries trading again.